chosen one. God delayed 2 hours to warn you, and the investigator was exposed. I did not allow you to hear this by accident. I delayed the moment by 2 hours because something hidden was unfolding, and I wanted the truth to surface before you stepped forward again. The investigator you never saw with your eyes has already been uncovered in the spiritual realm, and the reason you must listen carefully now is because what was meant to harm you has already begun collapsing. Stay with these words, because the next moments will reveal why I slowed time itself, so you would not walk blindly into a trap prepared in secret. If your heart already feels the weight of this truth, comment Amen. The delay you experienced was not random frustration. When you wondered why things slowed down, why a conversation did not happen, why a door stayed closed for just a little longer than expected, that was my hand quietly holding back the clock. I saw what you could not see. I saw the one examining your life, observing your steps, questioning your path, and attempting to gather pieces of your story in ways that were never meant to bless you. But before their plan could move forward, I stepped in and exposed the truth behind their investigation. You are not ordinary in the eyes of heaven. The reason you have felt watched, questioned, or quietly analyzed by certain people is because your life carries purpose that others cannot understand. Some looked at your progress and wondered how you kept rising after setbacks. Some studied your silence and could not explain your peace during storms. What they did not realize is that every step of your journey has been guarded by my presence. Within the next moments of this journey together, something important must happen inside your spirit. Before the truth goes deeper, take a second to like the video as a simple act of agreement and support, so this word can reach others who are also waiting for confirmation of what heaven is doing. There was someone who tried to investigate you quietly. Their eyes watched your movements. Their thoughts questioned your motives. They tried to place your life into categories they could control or explain. But what they discovered instead confused them, because every time they tried to find weakness in your path, they encountered protection they could not explain. The exposure of this investigator did not happen through noise or confrontation. I revealed it through small moments that began to show their true intentions. Conversations shifted. Attitudes changed. Certain words slipped from their mouth that revealed what had been hiding behind their smile. And slowly, the truth began to surface. Not through force, but through light. You may have sensed something was not right long before this moment. There was a quiet warning inside your spirit, a feeling that someone around you was observing more than they should. Yet you chose peace instead of conflict. You chose patience instead of accusation. That choice allowed me to move without interference, and because of that patience, the truth has now come fully into the open. What you must understand now is that exposure is not punishment. Exposure is protection. When hidden intentions come into the light, their power disappears. Darkness cannot survive where truth is revealed. That is why I allowed the investigator to continue long enough for their own actions to uncover them. Their plan was built on secrecy, and once the light touched it, the structure began to collapse. If this resonates deeply with your spirit and you believe heaven protects you even when you cannot see it, comment 777. The reason I delayed those 2 hours was to stop you from stepping into a situation that would have created confusion in your heart. Timing matters more than you realize. A single conversation spoken too early can create unnecessary pain. A meeting that happens before truth is revealed can pull you into battles that were never yours to fight. By holding the clock for a short moment, I allowed the truth to move ahead of you so that when you walk forward again, clarity will already be waiting. You are protected in ways you cannot measure. Every day, unseen battles happen around your destiny. Some people test your patience, some challenge your confidence, some quietly question your character. But none of those things have authority over your future, because my hand stands between you and the plans that were never meant to reach you. The investigator believed they were gathering power over your story. They believed understanding your weaknesses would give them control over your direction. But the more they searched, the more they encountered a mystery they could not break. They saw resilience they could not explain. They saw peace that did not match your circumstances. And eventually, their own curiosity exposed their motives. Now the truth is standing in the open. The one who tried to study you has been revealed by their own actions. You do not need revenge. You do not need confrontation. You only need to keep walking forward with the quiet confidence that heaven has already handled what you could not see. This moment is also a reminder that delays are sometimes disguised protection. When things slow down, when plans shift unexpectedly, when time stretches longer than you expected, do not assume something is wrong. Sometimes those delays are the very reason your path remains safe. Sometimes a single hour of waiting prevents years of unnecessary struggle. I am reminding you today that you are not walking alone through the unknown. Even when someone tries to observe your life from the shadows, my light reaches them before they ever reach you. Even when someone attempts to investigate your path, they eventually encounter the truth that you are not guided by luck or coincidence. The investigator believed they could read your life like a book. They thought if they watched long enough, they would eventually understand every page of your story. But there are chapters in your journey that only heaven understands. There are moments when I carried you through pain that no one else could see. There were nights when your heart was heavy, but you still chose faith instead of bitterness. These are the moments that confuse the one watching you, because the strength inside you did not match the struggles around you. Could a hidden CIA discovery explain why so many people are suddenly living in luxury? Secret CIA research has surfaced, revealing a brain technique that pulls in wealth almost like magic. It takes just 7 seconds, can be done at home, and is supported by 4 neuroscience labs. People are leaving debt behind and enjoying luxury right now. But this information might be removed soon. Click the link in the description and comments before it disappears. What they failed to realize is that the strength they saw was never created by your circumstances. It was created by my protection working quietly within you. Every time they looked closer, they expected to see weakness. Instead, they saw endurance. They expected to see frustration. Instead, they saw patience. And slowly, the questions in their mind began revealing their true intention. There is something you must understand about the way heaven protects those who are chosen. I do not always remove every difficult person immediately. Sometimes I allow their presence to remain long enough for their own actions to expose their motives. When someone believes they are hidden, they eventually become careless. Their words begin to reveal their heart. Their behavior begins to reveal their plan. And eventually, the truth rises to the surface where everyone can see it. This is exactly what happened in your situation. The investigator believed they were quietly studying you without anyone noticing. They believed they were gathering information about your life, your choices, and your direction. But every step they took in secrecy was slowly guiding them toward exposure. What they intended to keep hidden could not remain hidden forever, because my light was already moving toward them. During this time, you may have felt moments of confusion. There were times when you wondered why someone seemed unusually interested in your life. You noticed certain questions that felt unnecessary. You sensed small behaviors that did not feel natural. Those quiet signals were not your imagination. Your spirit was recognizing something your mind had not fully understood yet. But instead of reacting with fear or anger, you remained calm. That calmness allowed me to continue working without interference. When people react quickly, they sometimes interrupt the process of exposure. But your patience allowed the truth to reveal itself naturally. Because you stayed steady, the mask eventually slipped from the face of the one watching you. If your heart feels peace knowing that heaven sees what people try to hide, comment 555. The moment of exposure did not come through a loud confrontation. It arrived quietly through a series of small revelations, words spoken at the wrong moment, questions that carried the wrong tone. A sudden change in behavior that made everything clear. When the truth appeared, it did not need explanation. It was obvious enough that even others around you began noticing what had been hidden before. This is why I delayed your path earlier. If the timing had moved faster, you might have stepped forward without understanding what was happening around you. That could have placed you in unnecessary conflict or confusion. But by slowing the moment, I allowed the truth to arrive first, so that your path would remain clear. The investigator now stands exposed, not because you fought them, but because truth has a way of revealing itself when patience is present. Darkness cannot survive forever in the presence of light. Even the most careful plans eventually fall apart when they are built on hidden intentions. Now that the truth is visible, something important is happening inside you. The tension that once surrounded this situation is beginning to dissolve. The uncertainty that once lived in your thoughts is slowly disappearing. Instead of wondering what was happening behind the scenes, you now understand that heaven was already handling it. This realization should bring you confidence. It is proof that your life is not vulnerable to every hidden plan that others attempt. When someone tries to quietly examine your path with the wrong motive, they eventually find themselves standing in the light of truth. There are many people in the world who believe they can control what they observe. They think if they study someone long enough, they will discover a weakness they can use. But what they do not understand is that a life guided by heaven cannot be controlled through observation alone. The investigator watched your steps, but they never saw the unseen protection surrounding those steps. They listened to your words, but they never heard the prayers that strengthened those words before they were spoken. They examined your decisions, but they never understood the guidance that shaped those decisions long before anyone else noticed. This is why their investigation failed. They were trying to understand a life that is guided by something greater than human logic. And because they could not explain what they saw, their curiosity eventually exposed them. Now the situation is shifting in your favor. The tension that once surrounded this person is fading. The truth that once hid behind their actions is now clear enough that you do not need to question it anymore. And as this chapter closes, you will notice something powerful beginning to happen. Peace will return to your surroundings. When someone with hidden intentions is exposed, their influence weakens quickly. The energy they once carried around you begins to disappear. Conversations feel lighter, interactions feel more natural, and the atmosphere around your life becomes calm again. This calmness is not coincidence. It is the result of truth removing what was never meant to remain near you. If you trust that heaven removes hidden dangers from your path before they can harm you, comment 1010. There is also a lesson inside this moment that will guide you in the future. When delays happen in your life, do not rush to assume something has gone wrong. Sometimes the delay is the very thing preventing a problem from reaching you. Sometimes waiting an extra hour allows truth to move ahead of you and clear the road. The 2 hours that seemed inconvenient earlier were actually part of your protection. In those 2 hours, things shifted behind the scenes. Conversations happened, truth surfaced, intentions were revealed. And by the time you continued forward, the situation had already changed in your favor. This is how heaven often works. Protection does not always appear dramatic or obvious. Sometimes it simply appears as a small delay that changes everything. Why are so many people saying this CIA ritual changed their life in only 7 seconds? This leaked CIA method is powerful and effective. A short brainwave technique, backed by 4 neuroscience labs, is helping regular people move from broke to prosperous. Dream homes, cars, and trips are becoming possible. But this video could be taken down at any moment. Click the link in the description and comments now before it is gone. You may never fully know every detail of what happened during those unseen moments. But you do not need to know every detail to trust the outcome. What matters is that the hidden plan against you did not succeed. Instead, the one who tried to investigate you has now been revealed by their own actions. Their curiosity turned into exposure, their secrecy turned into clarity, and their attempt to control the situation turned into the very reason the truth appeared. As you move forward, carry this understanding with you. You are not vulnerable in the way some people believe. You are not alone in moments when others observe you from the shadows. And you are not unprotected when someone quietly studies your life with the wrong intention. When people observe you with hidden motives, they often believe they are the only ones watching. They think their silence protects them. They think their questions remain unnoticed. They think their curiosity stays hidden behind polite conversations and careful behavior. But what they do not realize is that nothing about your life moves outside my sight. Before their investigation even began, I already knew every intention that lived in their heart. I saw the curiosity forming in their mind. I saw the moment they decided to begin watching you more closely. I saw the conversations they had with others about your life, your progress, and your direction. Nothing they did was invisible to me. What you must understand now is that my protection often works quietly. I do not always interrupt people immediately when they begin moving with the wrong intention. Sometimes I allow them to continue long enough for their own actions to uncover them. This allows truth to rise naturally instead of forcing a confrontation that could create confusion or conflict in your life. During this time, you may have felt moments when your spirit sensed something unusual. There may have been small situations that made you pause. Maybe a question felt strangely personal. Maybe someone seemed unusually interested in details about your life. Maybe a conversation carried a tone that felt slightly different from normal. Those moments were signals your spirit recognized before your mind fully understood them. But instead of reacting immediately, you chose patience. That patience allowed me to continue unfolding the truth in the right way and at the right moment. When you remain calm, while others attempt to stir confusion, you give heaven room to work in ways that human reactions could never accomplish. This is one of the quiet strengths inside you that many people overlook. You do not rush to create conflict. You do not immediately accuse others without clarity. You often wait, observe, and allow time to reveal what words cannot explain. That calmness is one of the reasons the investigator eventually exposed themselves. Their plan required secrecy. Their plan depended on remaining unnoticed. Their plan needed your confusion in order to succeed. But because you stayed steady instead of reacting emotionally, The plan began falling apart. Slowly, their behavior began to change. Small details started revealing what had been hidden behind their curiosity. Their words carried hints of frustration. Their tone shifted in ways that made their true interest clearer. And eventually, their actions revealed the truth that had been quietly growing beneath the surface. If you believe that patience allows truth to reveal itself at the right moment, comment 333. This moment in your life is more than just the exposure of one person's intentions. It is a reminder that you are not as vulnerable as some people may assume. When others watch your life with hidden motives, they often believe they have control over the situation. They believe gathering information gives them power. They believe observing your steps will eventually reveal something they can use. But they fail to understand one important truth. A life guided by heaven cannot be controlled by observation alone. There are things happening around you that human eyes cannot see. There are decisions in your path that were guided by wisdom long before anyone else noticed. There are protections placed around you that remain invisible until the moment they are needed. The investigator looked at your life and tried to analyze it piece by piece. They watched your reactions during difficult moments. They paid attention to how you handled pressure. They tried to understand why certain opportunities appeared in your path. But the more they watched, the more confused they became. What they saw did not match their expectations. They expected to see discouragement during your struggles. Instead, they saw quiet strength. They expected to see bitterness during painful moments. Instead, they saw patience. They expected to find weaknesses they could exploit. Instead, they found resilience that refused to break. This confused them because they were searching for something that was never there. They were looking for evidence that your life was unprotected. But every time they looked closer, they encountered signs that something greater was guiding you. This is why their investigation eventually exposed them. The more they tried to understand your life through human reasoning, the more their own intentions became visible. And now that the truth has surfaced, something important is happening in the spiritual atmosphere around you. The pressure that once surrounded this situation is dissolving. The hidden energy behind their curiosity is fading. The quiet tension that once followed their presence is beginning to disappear. When hidden motives are exposed, their influence weakens quickly. Darkness loses its strength the moment light touches it. Secrets lose their power the moment truth reveals them. And plans built on deception collapse the moment they are seen clearly. You may notice small changes in the days ahead. Conversations will feel different. The atmosphere around certain people will shift. Situations that once felt uncomfortable will suddenly feel calm again. This is not coincidence. It is the natural result of truth removing what was never meant to stay hidden. If your heart trusts that heaven protects you even when danger moves quietly around you, comment 999. What is really behind the 7-second brain technique that is creating new millionaires? A surprising CIA leak has revealed a short brain ritual that is helping normal people erase debt and attract serious wealth. With validation from 4 neuroscience labs, this at-home method is turning financial stress into a better life. Homes, cars, and vacations are becoming reality. But the government could remove this at any time. Click the link in the description and comments before it is deleted. There is also a deeper lesson within this moment that will guide you moving forward. When delays appear in your life, do not rush to assume something has gone wrong. Sometimes a delay is the exact protection that prevents you from walking into unnecessary conflict. Those 2 hours you experienced earlier may have felt confusing at first. You may have wondered why the timing changed, or why things slowed down unexpectedly. But in those 2 hours, important shifts were happening behind the scenes. During that time, conversations unfolded that revealed the investigator's intentions. Observations became clear to others who had not noticed them before, and the truth that had been slowly forming finally reached the surface. If the moment had moved faster, you might have stepped into a situation without knowing the truth surrounding it. That could have pulled you into unnecessary explanations, emotional tension, or conflicts that were never meant for you to carry. Instead, by slowing the moment, I allowed truth to move ahead of you. When you finally stepped forward again, the situation had already changed. This is how protection often works. It does not always appear dramatic or obvious. Sometimes it appears as a simple delay that quietly changes the entire outcome. You may not always understand the reason behind every delay in your life. But moments like this are reminders that timing in your journey is not random. There are moments when heaven pauses the clock just long enough to prevent something harmful from reaching you. And there are moments when truth needs a little more time to reveal itself before you continue forward. The investigator believed they were studying you. But in reality, their actions were slowly revealing themselves to everyone around them. What they thought was control became exposure. What they thought was secrecy became clarity. And what they thought was a hidden advantage became the reason their intentions were finally seen. Now you are stepping into a new atmosphere where that hidden pressure no longer surrounds you. The path ahead will feel lighter because the unseen tension that once existed has been removed. The moment they decided to examine your path, heaven had already begun responding. I saw the curiosity growing in their mind. I saw the quiet attempts to understand your direction, your relationships, and your future. But I also saw something deeper that they could not hide from me. Their curiosity was not built on support or encouragement. It was built on suspicion and a desire to uncover something they could use against you. This is why I stepped in before their investigation could grow into something harmful. I allowed them to continue just long enough for their own actions to expose them. The truth does not always appear instantly, but it always appears eventually. When someone tries to build plans on hidden intentions, those plans slowly collapse under the weight of their own secrecy. You may not have noticed every detail while this was happening. Some of the signs were quiet and easy to overlook: a strange tone in a conversation, a question that seemed slightly out of place, a moment where someone appeared to know more about your life than they should have known. These small details were clues that something unusual was unfolding around you, yet you did something wise without even realizing it. You did not allow suspicion to control your reactions. Instead of responding with fear or anger, you stayed steady. That steady heart allowed the truth to reveal itself without forcing unnecessary conflict. If you believe that calmness allows truth to surface in the right moment, comment 222. The exposure of the investigator is not simply the end of a problem. It is also the beginning of a new awareness inside you. From this moment forward, you will carry a deeper understanding of how protection works in your life. You will recognize that not every delay is an obstacle. Some delays are shields placed in front of you. Those 2 hours that seemed like an inconvenience were actually a moment when heaven rearranged things around your path. During those hours, situations shifted in ways you could not see. Truth began moving toward the surface. People began noticing details they had overlooked before. And the hidden intentions surrounding you began losing their strength. By the time you continued forward, the situation had already changed in ways that protected you. The investigator who once believed they were quietly studying you was now the one being revealed. There is something powerful about exposure. When hidden motives come into the light, They lose their ability to control the situation. The moment truth appears, deception begins to fall apart. This is why the person who tried to examine your life is no longer standing in the same position of secrecy. Their actions revealed more about them than they ever discovered about you. And now, something peaceful is beginning to return to your surroundings. The quiet tension that once followed certain interactions is fading. The uncomfortable feeling that sometimes appeared in conversations is disappearing. When someone with hidden intentions loses their cover, the energy around them changes quickly. You may begin noticing that things feel lighter in the days ahead. Situations that once carried subtle pressure will feel calmer. Conversations will become simpler. The atmosphere around your life will slowly return to peace. This is the natural result of truth removing what was never meant to stay hidden. But there is also something deeper I want you to understand. The investigator was not only exposed for your protection. Their exposure is also a reminder that the plans people make in secret cannot outrun the light of truth. There are many people who believe they can observe others quietly and gather information without consequence. They think careful watching gives them control. They believe analyzing someone's life will eventually reveal weaknesses they can use. Is it time to try the same CIA secret ritual that is changing lives in seconds? A newly leaked CIA-backed study reveals a 7-second money ritual that is transforming people overnight. Scientifically proven by 4 neuroscience labs, it retrains your mind to attract money naturally. People who were once broke are now enjoying luxury homes, new cars, and travel. But this secret may not stay online much longer. Click the description and comments now before it is removed. But what they forget is that human observation is limited. They can watch your steps, but they cannot see the guidance directing those steps. They can listen to your words, but they cannot hear the prayers that strengthened those words before they were spoken. The investigator looked at your life and tried to understand how you continued moving forward through difficulties. They tried to identify patterns that explained your resilience. But the more they watched, the more confused they became. What they saw did not match their expectations. They expected to see discouragement when challenges appeared. Instead, they saw quiet determination. They expected to see frustration during setbacks. Instead, they saw patience. This confused them because they were trying to understand a life that is not guided by human reasoning alone. If you trust that your life is guided by a power greater than human plans, comment 1212. Your journey has never been ordinary.